Power and privilege. The hysteria about communism is ultimately about power and privilege for somebody else. The hype going on now about crime, while crime figures are down, is about power for somebody else. The hype going on now about crime is actually about racism, because it will be dark-skinned people who will go into prison, leaving the white powerful in possession of power and privilege. Cocaine and heroin brought into our homeland by the CIA are about power to keep minorities and workers paralyzed with needles on mattresses on the floor, to allow cities and sheriffs to hire hundreds of thousands of pounds of police to preserve power and privilege, to keep it clear for everyone just who owns the earth, to preserve power and privilege. Power and privilege are all about police and handcuffs and chain link fences and burglar alarms. They're about expensive perfumes and imported lingerie, about candles and incense and bedroom music at night, while the homeless prowl through alleys looking for garbage cans and the poor consider alcoholism or suicide. Power and privilege are not only about rigged elections, but whole rigged political parties to make possible new economic despotism, the murders of hundreds of thousands of jobs, and at the time the rape of the forests and lakes in the name of boardroom freedom, the stripping away of the bare skin of the people in doctors' offices at horrendous fees while politicians give 4th of July speeches. Power and privilege are the law of gravity and determine which worlds shall collide and how many millions will murder each other, with the armies and Air Force cleaning up the bloody gore before church services the next Sunday. Each of us will know whether we have it or whether we do not. It is everything. Power and privilege. Privilege and power. So, it all comes down to murder, if necessary, to murder by the dozens, the hundreds, the thousands. If necessary, they can always say it was really necessary. Cross my heart and hope to die. Murder by the millions? Well, you need aircraft carriers and long-range guns and long-range bombers to give us a little distance. And anyway, it takes time, and so your crews don't vomit all day and all night. See, because the victims don't just line up in a nice neat row. They're home cooking dinner or nursing a child or making love or doing the laundry. You have to smash a whole apartment house. Smash a whole apartment house just to get a couple of hundred to 5. So 5 just to get 1,000. Can you see what a mess it will be to have to kill just 1 million? To say nothing of 20 or 100 million? That takes centuries and at least a whole continent, and it's called imperialism. You got any idea about the deaths and the wreckage in the world caused by the tall, stately, gray-haired, woolen-slacked, tweed-jacketed, white-shoed British empire, with its hair combed nicely on one side, carrying on everything underneath the sun, where it had no flat-out business, no business being there under the sun or the moon, or in the black or rainy nights at all. It's whatsoever at all. Well, don't worry. Poems like this will never turn up in your exams or in your school books. Besides, all the people they did it to are dead now anyway, so you're safe, but they're not. We got those well-dressed, church-going, cultured sons of bitches in our sights. And by the way, that goes for all the rest too, especially the Americans who have everyone not only by the balls, but with anti-communist angioplasts stuck up their asses to see how they'll fit into America's new world order they're organizing. As they smile, good old boy, country smiles into the camera. But see, those country boys in Congress and the CIA and the nuclear rocket forces have it down, and they're going to put it together the biggest, toughest, most hardball, mother-lucking, cark-soaking, sheep-dipping, cart-parking empire the world has ever seen. And don't you forget it, all you little commie bastards out there, stoned to the gills in a bunch of commie coffee houses, trying to get it on with the chicks with some hot love poem. Shit. But don't talk to us about no power and privilege. Shit.